Hey everyone, my name is Lorrie. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, let me real quickly say thank you to all my new subscribers. I've gotten quite a few lately, which kind of surprises me because I'm just struggling to find time to paint and make videos right now. Alright, so to start with today, I'm just want to go over a couple of things real quickly before I start painting. So if you want to skip through this part, feel free. I'm just going to talk about what I'm going to use in this painting. Alright, for this one I'm going to use yupo. I generally use the Legion brand yupo. I just really like it, and as far as prices go, it's as good as anything out there. So in fact, I think they may be the only ones who actually call it yupo. I'm not sure, but I do like it. This is, I forgot what size I got, 9 by 12. Alright, this is the medium weight. There is also heavyweight, which is in the purple package. I generally use medium weight. It's a little bit cheaper, and I don't need the heavyweight because I use my airsource on cool. If you are going to be using something with heat, be sure that you use the heavyweight yupo because it will not warp as bad as the medium weight, but you still have got to be really careful. If you're using a heat gun or if you're using a hairdryer that doesn't have a cool setting, you still need to be real careful. It will warp, and if you kind of watch it as you're using it, you'll start to see like little dips in it, and just stop and let your paper cool down for a minute, and you should be good to go again after that. But just kind of keep an eye on it. It'll usually flatten itself back out. But I'm just using the medium weight today because I am using cool air, not hot. I'm going to get that out so that I'm ready for that. Alright, this is my isopropyl alcohol. This is what I'm using in this bottle right now. This says it's 100%. Got this off of Amazon. I had a link in the description box to this, but I don't know if it's still available. Alcohol's been one of those kind of weird things lately that sometimes you can find it and sometimes you can't. This is just a little needle-nosed applicator bottle. I also got off of Amazon. Sorry, I'm looking at my dirty hands. My fingernails are stained up. Sorry. Got this off of Amazon. You can get these in a pack of like 10 or something, I think for around $4, $5 maybe. I can't really remember, but that is also in the description, along with a lot of other things that I use. Let me talk about this real quick because I get more questions about this than probably anything that I use. This is a Revlon brand styling brush hair dryer. It came with a brush attachment on the end out here, just like a round brush. It was removable, so I just popped the brush off, and that's what I use. It's got a high heat, a low heat, and cool settings on it. Now the cool is not actually cool, like it's not air conditioned air coming out of it. It is a little on the lukewarm side, but it is not hot enough to have to worry about it warping or damaging your paper in any way. For the metallic, those of you who know me at all already know what I'm going to say. I'm using the Jacquard, the Pinata Brass for my metallic. This is my absolute favorite go-to metallic color. It is very gold looking, so it looks really good in the paintings, but this tends to float more on top of your inks. It doesn't sink as bad to your surface. So that is one reason that this is one of my, well, not one of, this is my favorite metallic to use. So if you're looking for one, I highly would recommend the Pinata Brass for your metallic. That's what you'll see in this needle nose bottle. I don't have anything mixed with this. There's no alcohol in it. This is just straight Pinata Brass that I poured out of the big bottle into the needle nose applicator. I also generally keep just a little cotton swab handy for, I put a little alcohol on it and swipe out any little drips or dots that I don't want somewhere. Real quickly before I get started too, I'm always getting asked about how I seal my paintings. These are what I use. Both of them are Krylon sprays. The Camar varnish I put down first because this will not reactivate your ink. You've got to be very careful when you're sealing these paintings, and yes, you absolutely have to seal them. They will get ruined if you don't seal them because you can very easily rub off and scratch the alcohol ink, and it also is not UV resistant, so it's going to fade really quickly if you don't seal it. So I use several light coats of the Camar varnish first, letting it dry really good in between every coat. And then I use this by Krylon also, the UV archival varnish. This is a semi-gloss, but it comes in gloss and matte. You know, pick whatever finish it is that you like the best on it. This is just for some extra protection against fading and discoloration of your inks. So after that, you know, let it dry super good and let it dry in between coats good. This can take a really long time to seal them as far as waiting time goes, but it's worth it. Then same with this, several light coats, being sure that it dries really, really good in between coats. I mean, like, wait 20 or 30 minutes. And the more coats you're getting on, the longer you'll need to wait in between coats to make sure that it is completely dry. One more quick thing, I don't know how well you all will be able to see this. I had someone ask me to please show the cut down makeup brush that I use at times when I need a really fine liner type brush. Unfortunately, I think one of my granddaughters might have been playing with this because it's looking a little ragged. Let me see if I can get this in the picture where you all can see it. I'm not sure how well that's going to focus on this. Don't know, can you all see that right there? Anyway, it's just wait a minute, I'll show you what it looked like before. Maybe I can find that brush. It looked very much like this to start with, and then I just, you know, took some scissors and trimmed it down till I just had a few bristles left. And I use that for when I want to do some really super fine lines, like if I'm going back over top after I'm done with the painting. Sorry, the whole table's shaking here. I keep forgetting to shim my table leg. I knocked the shim out from under it. If you want to go back with your metallic, you know, and add some little details here and there, something like this will work really good for that. One other thing that I occasionally use is this. I have been told this is a blunt. I'm not sure because this is plastic. I don't know. But anyway, it's really handy. I do occasionally use this. There are times when you can't get the ink to move well, especially if you've got a little too much metallic in it. It'll start getting sort of thick as you're pushing it back in towards the center. And I'll take that in and just sort of dab it in where I need it, or sometimes the pointy end, and it just kind of, you know, helps your ink move just a touch to fill in a little spot if you need to. Alright, I tried to pick some colors today that y'all could see really well. So these are Tim Holtz Ranger alcohol inks, which is generally my favorite ones. That's what I use more than about anything. I'm using Boysenberry, Wild Plum, and Aquamarine, I think. Anyway, these are the ones that I've picked out for today. So we'll see. I started to just do a one color one and then thought, well, no, I think I'll add one more color. And then I thought, well, maybe I should add in a good contrasting color too, just in case. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with this yet. So, all right. Well, I will get started painting. And I hope that everyone will be able to hear me okay, because I am going to talk as I'm painting. It does make the videos a little bit longer, but I have a tendency to forget things that I want to be sure to tell you if I do a voiceover. So I apologize, you are going to get a lot of dryer noise. I do have a microphone hooked up near my face, which I'm sorry, you're probably seeing a shadow of it right there because I can see it. I'll see if I can arrange my lights before I start so you're not getting that. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay. Unfortunately, it also brings the mic closer to the hairdryer, so you may be hearing that better as well. All right, well, I will get started, and I'll see if I can get rid of this shadow first, and then I'll get started and we'll see what we can come up with today. Okay, ready to get started. I decided to start with the Boysenberry, and I know the reason that most of you all watch my videos is because you like the wispy look. So I am going to try to make sure I get this one rather wispy, so you can see a little bit of how I do that. Alright. Now different people do this differently. I generally put down my ink first, usually just about one drop, unless you just want to make it really super dark, and then you can use however much you want to. But one drop really does go a long way. Oh, also with your metallic, make sure that you shake it up really well. One thing you can do, if you have any of the little like BBs or metallic balls that come out of nail polish, or the big bottle actually has some in it. I don't know if you all can hear that. So, when you empty a bottle, you can take the little metal balls out and put it in your bottle of ink, which I don't have any in mine right now because I broke my other bottle and I forgot to get them out of the bottom when I threw it away. So, alright, let's see what we can do. I'm going to put down a drop of ink, then just a drop of the metallic, and then I'm going to put down the alcohol. And I don't usually put the alcohol right on top. I tend to come in from the side. I want to try and get some alcohol up under the metallic. Now you can put your alcohol down first and then put the metallic on top of it, however you want to do. That's just the way that seems to work good for me, so that's what I generally do. You don't want to go overboard with your metallic because you will end up with a goopy mess in the middle of your painting. I'm sorry, y'all, there is still a shadow here. I did turn another light on, but I could not completely get rid of it, so I hope that that's not too distracting or annoying to everyone. She probably would not have noticed it if I hadn't mentioned it. So, okay, here we go. Let's see what happens here. Alright, now see, you can see how that's kind of floating, and you see I'm kind of coming at it from the side. Now you're still going to have a little of your metallic that's going to sink pretty much no matter what you do. And the best thing I've found to do is to just keep moving it a little bit. Because as you move it, let me show you real quick here. This is one of the things I was talking about. I've got a little spot of white there. I can just take this and pull that ink over into it if I need to. Right there I didn't really need to because I'll still be working this some more, but I did want to show you that. Oh, the metallic. So if you keep moving it, you know, back and forth, it's going to get picked up by your ink. And you won't have this just spot, you know, blob of a metallic sitting there if you do that. So, now, there's different ways that you can go from here. You can go ahead and wisp this some and then put down another color or another drop of this ink or whatever you want to do. Or you can leave it like this and go in with some of your other colors and, you know, kind of lay out your ink where you're going to want it first. And then go back and soften your edges and wisp them out however you want to do that. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go ahead and get my ink put down. Then I'm going to go back and work it out and get the edges all nice and soft and wispy, we hope. So I'm just going to do that the same way. And yes, I did just mix up my ink lids. We'll talk about that in a second. And then one drop of the metallic. Sometimes two will come off accidentally, and that's not a big deal. You just don't want to end up with a bunch of goopy mess in the middle of your painting. So you can see, I don't know if you all can see it or not, but there is a spot there. So I'm trying to work that spot where that metallic went down. And I don't know if you can tell now or not, but I've pretty much picked up all of the brass now. And it's either blended into the ink, or, you know, it leaves these beautiful little veins, which I just love about it. Alright, so I've got the lids off 2 bottles, and I stupidly did that. I know better than to do that. If that happens, if you haven't marked it, you know, a lot of people actually mark their lids, but I can never seem to find time to do that. If you put some white acrylic paint on there, you can actually go back and just put a dot of alcohol ink to tell you what color your lids are. But you can do that. See, I can tell that's stream. So that's going to go back on the stream bottle. Just stick a Q-tip in there. If the lid has dried too much already, you can just put a little alcohol on your cotton swab and do it that way. And that was the oh, I forgot to tell you, I switched out the whatever I had, aquamarine, I think. Yeah, I switched out aquamarine and decided to use stream instead, because I just absolutely love that color. So, and I love the greenish, you know, more aqua-ish tint to it. Oh, excuse me. So I'm just going to keep going through and placing, you know, colors different places as I'm deciding exactly how I want this to look. And sometimes I honestly don't know how it's going to look until I get done with it. It's just one of those things. And see how I'm keeping it close and doing a lot of blowing back and forth in one spot there for a minute. That's how I'm picking up the metallic. That's one of the biggest problems that I hear from people that they're having is how do you get rid of that blob of metallic that sinks to the bottom. And that's how I pick mine up, is just by doing that. You need to wipe off the top of your metallic, your needle nose bottle, when you're doing the metallic. You need to wipe it off every now and then, because you will end up with a gob of ink on it if you don't. One of the other questions I get asked a lot is how much alcohol to use, and that is one of those questions that I can't really answer because it just depends on how big of an area you're working at one time. You hopefully can kind of see that I'm using just, sort of a small squirt out of the needle nose bottle, but it's almost impossible for me to say because, especially if I'm working on a little bit bigger sheet of yupo or something, like an 11 by 14, I might not want so many small sections. I might want bigger sections, and so I'll use a couple of drops of ink, which means I'll use more alcohol. And there's times, when I go back, which I'm getting ready to do in just a second, when I go back and start sort of wisping things, if I want a wider area wisp out, I'll use more alcohol down through here. If I want a more narrow area wisp out, then I'll use a little bit less alcohol sometimes, but I make it go this way. You want your line of alcohol to go in this way. And then here is a super important thing. So I hope that people are listening and not fast forwarding through this. This is really important. To get that soft wispy edge, and I can't tell you how many photos I've gotten from people where it looks like this, and they don't want this hard edge. To get that soft wispy edge, you have got to keep your alcohol on this side of your ink as you're finishing up your wisp. It's really difficult for me to tell you exactly what I mean by that, but you don't want to have ink. So you're going to put your alcohol down, and you're gonna be moving it back and forth, but always ending with blowing it towards the center. So as you're blowing this back towards the center, you want to make sure you keep just some plain alcohol out here that's moving in to push that hard edge in. And that's how you get your wispy, is by, not letting ink get out there. So let me see. It may be a little hard to show you exactly what I mean right here because I don't have a lot of room to work right here. I did get that a little close to the edge. But we'll see what we come up with. Another thing you can do as well is you can put your ink colors down, and then when you go back to wisp it, you can put down a drop of alcohol and whatever this is, metallic, a drop of metallic, and then the alcohol, and use these two to wisp it. But I just did it this way today, and this is the way I usually do it, but I do occasionally do it the other way as well. Just kind of depends on what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm going to put down some alcohol. See, I put it at that outside edge. I'm going to pick up the ink, but I'm going to hurry and blow it back in, because I don't want, fuzz in there. I don't want to get a big hard edge right there. And I'm going to let some of this continue on down through here. So, and I forgot, Boysenberry is apparently one of those colors that stains yupo. So, it's going to have a little bit of an edge in there no matter what I do. There's just not anything I'm going to be able to do about it, because that's going to be a stain on the yupo. Some things I want that, and some things I don't. I was not thinking clearly this morning, because I really didn't want that today, because I wanted to show you more how to get it really wispy. So, alright, let's see. We'll work on this for a minute and see what we can get done. I don't know if you all can see it or not. You know, I've got this soft edge, but I've got that hard edge in there from staining on the yupo, which is not making me happy at the moment. I did not want to do that today, but that's okay. Alright, let's just keep going with it. Now I'm going to try and blend these two together right here as I come out. Alright, so you can see how that kind of blended right there. I tried to stop moving that back and forth too much, because I wanted that look up in there where the Boysenberry kind of ran up into the stream color and gave me a little bit of a blend. Those can be kind of hard to keep sometimes, though, as you continue to work things. But it can be done. It just is a little bit trickier to keep those in there. Got down a little more alcohol than I wanted there. If I hadn't already invested so much time in this one, I would probably just quit on it, because it's just, I really wanted you all to be able to see the wispiness, and I don't know that you can, since I managed to pick all colors that stain yupo. If you don't want to have this staining, use something like Graphics Craft Plastic or Nara synthetic art paper. They do not stain anywhere near as bad as yupo does. Alright, so see, I ran that right up to the edge and then tried to push it back. Now, so that I don't have a hard edge here, I'm putting some more alcohol. Here's another case of a little hole that I don't want. So I can just use either side and just kind of, you know, tap it in or, you know, dab it a little, however works. But you got to do that before it dries very much or you'll have a problem. Now, I won't normally leave something, sorry, I think I just wiped gold ink on my face. I won't leave like this. I will be wisping that a little bit again. So I'm going to kind of work this one, I think, in different directions. Kind of, you know, I'm going to come in here now and kind of come back this way a little bit. No particular reason, just because I want to see how it looks. Hopefully, oops, I don't know why I did that. I was getting ready to put more metallic on it, which I don't really want to do right now. Although you can, I mean, but you got to be real careful that you don't end up with that goopy mess that's really thick and stays sticky forever in your painting. Now, one of the things that people ask about is the little fingers of ink that they get. I have done some frequently asked questions videos, a couple of them, where I try to show you all how to help prevent that from happening. Sometimes it's going to happen no matter what you do, and in that case, it really just becomes a matter of instinct, just practicing to know, you know, where to head those things off at and what to do. You know, it just kind of depends. There's times when I don't care what I do, I cannot completely stop it. I usually can, but every now and then there's just some that gets away from you and not a whole lot you can do about it. So you can see I've got one right there, little finger, I've got one that ran out there, but I didn't really care about this because I know I'm going to be redoing this. Actually, I was trying to decide whether to put some more color up here, because I don't think I want it that much blue or stream. Oh, what do I want to use? Let's use the Wild Plum. It gets a little bit trickier when you go back and add things in sometimes, but it's pretty much the same thing, especially if you're going to put some in an area that you haven't worked yet anyway. And I just really want a little. And anytime I just really want a little, I usually end up with 3 or 4 drops just spurting out. Oh, there's more metallic. Seems like I get way too much coming out if I just want a tiny bit. So I'm just going to do the same thing right here that I did to start with. Getting my metallic picked up, moving my ink where I want it. Okay. So now I'm going back to just the straight isopropyl alcohol again. I'm going to try to soften this up some. I'm going to come this way with it. Yeah, I want these blended some, but not too much. Struggling here. Can't get it to put. I didn't use enough alcohol, and so it didn't push to where I wanted it to. So I'm trying to fix that. Still not what I want. See, I didn't want to end up with this super dark part right there. Alright, so one way I can deal with that, this might help and it might mess things up. So, you know, it's just, you just have to kind of go with your instinct when you're doing this. So I'm going to run some out through here, see if I can soften that edge some. Well, that's a little bit better, maybe. But now, see, I've got this mess in here. But that's okay, because I'm still going to be working, you know, this way, or, you know, different ways around here. So that should straighten itself out as I work, I hope. Or sometimes it gets worse. You just never know. So as you're going, make sure you're blowing back, but that you're also coming in from your sides. You don't want to just blow from back here. Well, I don't. I like to come in from the sides. It gives you some of these little ripple line effects, you know, like this. But you've got to watch your back end too, because if you let your ink dry out there, then you have this look, the hard edged look. And you can see where I added that extra alcohol to make sure that my ink didn't dry too soon on that outer edge, because I did not want to have it. I'm fixing that. I did not want to have that dry too soon and give me that hard edge out there. Alright, this is what happens if you don't blow in from the side often enough. I hope y'all can see. I'm sorry, I had to flip my camera to where or my phone to where I can't even see it right now because one of my granddaughters messed up my lens on the other side. But there's, you know, where it's a little jagged there. I didn't come in quickly enough over here to push that back in to keep it from doing that and kind of help steer it down towards the middle. But that's all right there, because I still need to work this, so it's not a big deal right there. was trying to go back and pick up just a little bit of that stream back there for this section because it's kind of getting very pink. Not enough color to it to me. So what I probably need to do is try and pull this part of the stream color over this way some. And I need to try and pull some through here so that I get a little more of the stream color over in there. So that it's not just all this big pink blob in the center. So I'm going to turn it. Oh, and for those of you who keep recommending that I get a Lazy Susan, I do have one. My husband bought me one actually last Christmas. He bought me this great Lazy Susan, but the problem is it sits up so high that I need a new chair to use it because it's like right in my nose and I can't paint like that. So it's sitting on my shelf waiting for me to get around to getting a chair. Which I just have not done. So, one of these days, I will get a good, like, high chair, like a computer desk chair, something that I can raise up higher, which would actually be much more comfortable than the hard plastic one that I sit in. Alright, let's see what we can do with this. You see, I'm trying to fix that jaggedy line right there that I had. I made another one, but that's alright, because I can go back and work on it some too. But that fixed that rough edge that I had down in there. I still didn't get quite as much of the stream over there as I would have liked, but that's alright. Sometimes you just don't. Now, as for when to know when you're going to need to put more alcohol down, that's just going to take practice. You're just going to have to learn to see the signs that you need to put some more down. Because, you know, it's just not something I can really tell you. It's something that I just learned instinct as I've been painting over the last, I don't even know how long I've been painting now, a year and a half? Yeah, I think I've been painting for about a year and a half now. So, it's just something that you learn as you practice. See, I'm trying to pull some of that darker color out this way, and then I'm going to add that to try and keep it from making big old fingers out there. I'm going to pull this up into here. Well, boy, that was not what I meant to do. Alrighty. Still going to end up with a lot of blue right there, but I don't know that I want to put any other color right there because I don't want to completely overwhelm or stream. I keep calling it blue, but it is the ink color stream. I don't want to completely overwhelm it, and I don't want to end up with it coming too far down this way, which is what I'm kind of afraid might happen. I don't think I would like the composition of that if it comes down, if it's too wide in here. So I think I'll just leave it be for now. I'll do this way first. So I'm trying to push some of this down so that I have more of a purple color down in here, and instead of this just big swath of the stream. Hey, Magda, I have a visit from my granddaughter Maddie here. Well, a visit as in she's coming to watch me paint. She lives with us, so. All right. See me kind of steering that down so that I can pull that purple out in there. So see, now I've got that color that I'll be able to pull out some purple in there, and hopefully not completely kill that, although that can happen too. And I'm trying to mostly pick up the stream color right there and not too much of the purple in there, because I want mostly the stream right there. And then I'll pull the purple out down here a little bit more. I'm sorry if y'all keep hearing thumps. I keep hitting the microphone with the hairdryer. You gotta be a little careful doing this because you don't want to have that if you can help it. That's why you want to do it while it's still getting wet, because then if you make too much line, you can go back and do that. I didn't want that dark blob right there. It's really bugging me. Let's see what I can do about it. Now you can kind of see how that's staining the yupo out there. And there's just not much I'm going to be able to do to get rid of that. Because once it stains, it's just stained. You cannot get it off once it's stained. I got too much ink. I got too much ink in one spot right here. That's what this is just flat out too much ink. And I don't have a whole lot of room to spread it out without blending the color more than I would really like to. But I am going to go ahead and work on that just a tad more. See what I can do. Okay, here's another spot where you start getting a lot of those fingers. When you have too much ink and metallic and stuff that's blended together, it gets so much harder to deal with. This is something I don't do very often, but I'm going to go ahead and show you all because this is bugging me. I really hate this. Love this, hate this. Actually, I'm going to do something over here first. You can come in here and you can actually take out part of this ink and redo some stuff. It's a little tricky. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So, we'll see. But first I'm going to see if I can maybe just pull some of it this way. Even though I kind of hate to mess that up because I like it. So I would rather show you all my struggles as well because it helps you learn. You know, it helps you know ways that you might be able to salvage one that you are just really unhappy with, because it can usually be done. I have trashed paintings before, but you can usually do quite a bit to make it much better. Although now I'm trying to decide if I want to do anything different with it. I still think it needs more plum down this way, but if I keep messing with it too much, it's really going to get bad. But I'm going to try one more time with the alcohol just in here and see what happens before I decide if I really want to do major repairs on it. Put that little farther in than I wanted. So you see, I'm trying to pull a little of it back up this way to keep it spread out a little bit more. I did switch that to heat for just a second to dry that part up because it was taking forever. The more metallic and ink and stuff you have down there, the harder it is to get it to dry too. So, just kind of an aggravation. This in where it's not wanting to go where I want it to. Whoa, too much alcohol right there. So this is turning into a much longer video than I had meant while you all watch me try and fix things that I don't like. But I promise I'm almost done. Alright, so I am leaving it like that. There are a couple of things I'm not real thrilled with, but if I keep messing with it, I mean, you seriously have to get to a point where you just say that's good enough. Because if you keep on messing with them, then they're going to end up just this horrible big blob of all one color that you are really not going to be happy with. So, I am happy with this one. You know, probably no one but me would even notice the things that I don't like or I'm not really happy with. I mean, I do like this one, but there are some things that I wish had, you know, gone a little differently. So I hope that this has helped you all, those of you who are new to this art form especially, but also those of you who've been doing this for a while. Maybe answered a few questions that you've had, maybe some issues that you've been having with your own paintings. You know, I have gotten really bad lately to not answer questions because it is just super overwhelming having as many subscribers as I have now and trying to answer everybody's questions, especially when a lot of the questions are actually answered in the videos. You just have to listen to what I'm saying, and yes, I've been told that I'm boring and that I talk too much and different things. So, but I do want to do the talking for those of you who want to hear how to do this, because it really helps to hear what I'm saying about what I'm doing, and not to just, you know, kind of skim fast forward through the video. You're gonna miss a ton of information if you do that. And I know my videos can get a little bit long, and I apologize for that. But, you know, as you can see, if I don't show you how to fix mistakes that I've made or things that I'm not happy with, how are you going to know to, you know, be able to do it on your own? So, let's see. Hopefully you all can see that. I don't know if you can see the brass shimmering in there or not, because I can't really tell if I'm even in the frame right now, because I cannot see where it's at. So, all right, well, that is that. And you know, I will try to answer questions if you're having a lot of struggles. Before you send me questions, I would ask and highly recommend, especially if you're just starting out, but I would ask that you would go back and watch the couple of frequently asked question videos that I have done. I should have looked up the video numbers because I can't remember, but if you'll just go to my channel, the home page, and go to my uploads, or go to the I think it's just called Alcohol Ink Techniques folder, something like that. I can't remember. Tutorials, Alcohol Ink Tutorials, I think. They will be in there somewhere. So, all right, well, thank you all again for joining me today, and I will hopefully have another video up for you all before too much longer. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll be back soon.